Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Lured In Outdoors. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We didn't make it out on the ice this week. We had a little bit of a tough week, cold weather, work, everything else kind of got a little crazy for us. So today we're bringing it back inside the house. And in front of me here, I've got our full set of our favorite ice lures that we use throughout the season. We'll talk a little bit about the order of what they come in, with what we start out first and why, to what we end with, and how we break down a bite on a tough walleye bite, or one that's super aggressive, or one that's super slow. These lures pretty much cover that whole broad range. I'm going to keep this in probably 1 to 5, try to rank them in order here, but they do from time to time switch. So our number 3 lure might jump up to number 2 or even to number 1, depending upon that day. Like I said, this is usually our progression, and usually between the 4 of us, if we're all fishing together, someone, when we start, usually runs something different. Between myself liking to be more aggressive right off the bat, or if I was hot the last weekend on a jig and spoon, like a buckshot, I'll probably start out with that this week, just because I probably had it tied on, to be honest with you. That's probably why I start out with it a lot of the times. But as we run through this, I'm going to talk to you about sizes, our favorite colors, dependent upon the body of water, and a couple honorable mentions at the end. So let's get to it. First off, we've got the Northland Tackle Buckshot Spoon. And if you don't have this spoon in your tackle box, you're doing something wrong. This is by far our number 1 and our staple. I don't care what body of water you're fishing. I don't care walleyes. I use it for crappies. I use it for even down to bluegills, and up to, I've caught a lake trout on these spoons. The bigger size, it was a smaller lake trout, but still. I've caught just about every fish imaginable that you can think out there in the freshwater species that we target, I've caught on a buckshot spoon. So this one right here is one of our go-to colors, or my go-to color anyways. It's just a typical perch, glow perch buckshot. This is the 1/8 ounce, and this is my typical go-to walleye size. I will drop her down to a 1/16, just because I like that smaller size, and crappies it works really well on, especially if I'm in a bite where I can catch crappies and walleyes. I'll tend to fish this more, or a perch bite like on Devil's Lake, I'll fish the smaller size more than the bigger size. Just a personal preference. Honestly, it probably doesn't really matter, because I've had perch gobble rip and wrap too. So some of our favorite colors, like I mentioned, this perch color, a UV orange is awesome. I absolutely love this UV orange. And probably my favorite color by far is a UV green, and I can't find it, so I gotta go buy a new one. One other one that I really love is this red glow perch. For some reason, this red color, I have good luck with it. And typically, it's a crappie bite. I know this is more for walleyes here, but this red glow perch is awesome too. Moving on to our number 2, our second best lure, and it is the Rapala Rip and Wrap. I threw in a Jackal TN60 as well, because I'm starting to use this a little bit more. It's a little bit heavier of a nose, a little bit heavier of a bait. It's more for bigger fish, and I think we're planning a Lake Winnipeg trip soon, and this was a staple bait up there. So I know it's a little bit more on the expensive side for this TN60. I only have 2 of them. I just wanted to try it out, and so far so good. I've caught a couple fish on it every time I've used it, so that's pretty good. But back to the Rip and Wrap, because this is our staple bait. I personally like how light it is compared to the TN60, and it makes noise. When we're out on the water and we're not catching anything, somebody will call them in. So that means put on a Rip and Wrap and rip it as hard as you can in the column. If you go back to one of our earliest videos on YouTube, it's from Red Lake, our very first Red Lake video we put up. To this day, I still think it's one of our best videos we've put out there. And there's a specific clip of Crofty putting on a Rip and Wrap. And I remember him telling me before he used it, he's like, I don't have any confidence in this bait, but I'm going to try it. I'm like, this is probably the place to try it. The bite's been good. I mean, get out there and use it. I don't think he used it for 30 seconds, and he had one absolutely crush his Rip and Wrap. For colors and sizes, my favorite for walleyes is a size 5. I know we can go down to a size 4 in the winter, but personally, I like this size 5, and even up to a size 6, depending upon the day. But like I said, size 5 is a staple. As for color, I don't know why, but again, this red crayfish color has been my best go-to rip and wrap. Also, your standard perch color, fire tiger color. This has been a phenomenal color. And then again with the UVs, this is a UV green. I'm trying to find this in my buckshot. This is a UV green. Does a great job. Other colors out there to name of, a gold is really good. A blue with a silver, that one's really good. Helsinki shad. You got try them. Get out there and try them, especially on a really aggressive bite. And even sometimes we'll use this on a not so aggressive bite. We'll use it on one that's more of a slow, methodical bite, but we'll get the fish on a reactionary bite using these rip and wraps. Especially if they come in and they come in hard and aggressive, they'll bite it. Typically, that's not always the case with the reactionary bites for us on the slow days. But we'll throw it on. Sometimes you never know when it turns on. And it's one of the most fun baits to catch a fish on because they absolutely throttle it. I would probably say 70% of the fish that we catch on a rip and wrap is completely gone in their mouth. It's the other 30% is the back trebles hanging out of their mouth just because that's what they catch hooks on. On to number 3, we have our Acme Castmaster Flutter Jigging Spoon. Crofty's more of the expert on this one, and I've just started using it this year. But this green glow with a gold back has been awesome. I know the blue with the white bottom and the gold back has been great. Crofty's got about 15 of them in his box, and that's his favorite spoon. I don't think he touches a buckshot because he uses these. And they also have the Rattle Masters, Castmaster Rattle Master. Basically the same concept, except it's got a rattle in it. This spoon has been kind of underrated in our book, and I think I'm gonna end up having to pick up more because it's done so well, especially for Crofty, because like I said, it's his go-to lure. For me, this one juggles between number 3 and 4 and 5, depending upon the day. If I'm feeling flutter spoon, this might not be the first one I pull out of my box. If I'm feeling jigging spoon, it's probably not the first one I pull out of my box. If I don't start with it, usually it's not my next one I pull out. But once I do end up with it, once I remember I have it, I'm happy to put it on. Another color I do like, I'm starting to get like red again. Here it is, red and gold. But gold's just a staple color. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, gold's a staple color. Lake of the Woods, red. Mille Lacs, we're just starting to fish it this year. We've been usually going north in years past, but we started making our way down south to Mille Lacs. Gold's been just great. On to number 4. This right here is a recent spoon in the last couple of years, and it's been our favorite flutter spoon by far. It's the Clam Leech Flutter Spoon. We typically use this 1/8 ounce. I like this pink and white, golden red, golden green is really good. They have an orange one. I think it's orange and white. It's a glow color. That color is phenomenal. But these spoons, for whatever reason, their action is just great. And I know I'm saying that a lot with these spoons, but that's because they're our favorite. They're our go-tos. They're the ones we pull out of the box first. With this spoon, it's just got that slow fluttering action, and even on an aggressive bite, they go crazy over it. And we'll work these on a slower bite too. You can bump it down to the 16th, but for me, it almost feels too small and too light. So I like to stick with that 1/8 ounce size for walleyes. One thing with this spoon too, if you're fishing with guys and you're in a close vicinity, pay attention to when you first drop it down. Don't just drop it down the hole and let it go, because this thing, it will flutter. And a lot of times it'll take you 10, 15, 20 seconds to get it back to fall into your hole just because it flutters so far out. We got a saying this year, if it flutter, you drop your spoon and you look, okay, oh, my spoon's out in Vegas, because your line is literally at a diagonal and it's out off towards the other end of your house. So just be careful when you got other people there. You might get lines tangled with these, but they're such a great bait that I think it's definitely worth putting in your box and using. Our 5th bait that I'm going to bring up here in our top 5, and it's been a staple for a long time. I use it consistently in the summertime, especially late summer. Ice fishing, doesn't matter what size. We've found it from the littlest of sizes that you can get like this purple descent color, all the way up to the biggest size, which is the next step up from this number 7. Typically, I'm going to run the number 5 Jigging wrap, Rapala Jigging wrap. And it's not just this Jigging wrap, it's the minnow style baits. So we've got here, this is a Vexen one that I'm starting to like a lot. Hooks are extremely sharp. It's got a little bit of a glow on the treble. And personally, I just like this Wonder Bread color because I don't think Rapala makes a Wonder Bread color. But this minnow style bait has been very, very good for us. When we have our rip and wrap bite working, this Jigging wrap bite is also working. It's more of, do you want to rattle versus do you not want to rattle is basically what I'm going to come down to when I choose between these two baits. And like I said, other than our number 1, usually a buckshot's going to be our number 1 almost always. These last 4 groups are going to interchange. One day I might just think this is my number 2, and this is a pink UV color, one of my favorites. The yellow, I can't remember the color of it, but I call it banana just because it's straight yellow. And then this purple descent color. Those are my personal 3 favorite go-tos. And again, you got your perch, you got your fire tiger. Those are obvious staples. Flat out, these Jigging wraps though, they catch fish. That right there sums up our top 5 baits, but there's a couple others that are definitely worth mentioning. One being, first off and foremost, this is our definite number 6 bait, and this one honestly can climb into our top 5, especially when we're fishing Lake of the Woods. This is this is my staple bait up on Lake of the Woods, is this Lindy Rattling Flyer. Just something about it. It is got just a different action. Like I said, with each of these baits, they all just have that little bit different of action for a different bite. This one has the wings on it. It's got the hard rattle to it. It's got the more vertical, but those wings will catch it and throw it off to the side, and sometimes that's all it takes. They come with a little bit bigger of a hook too than the buckshot spoons. And I'm pretty sure this is an 1/8 ounce bait. I could be wrong, could be 3/16. But these are very, very good again. And pink and white, very good color. This one is a white with a blue and pink. I also love the black and gold. That one's very, very good, especially on Lake of the Woods. And they have all sorts of colors, and their colors are honestly, they're different than every other bait that I've seen out there. You have our buckshots and your Castmasters that have the same colors, but they're a little bit different. Your rip and wraps, they're from Rapala. They're all gonna have the same Rapala color patterns. Your Leech flutter spoons, they have a lot of shiny colors and a lot of flat colors, but they're all very kind of similar. Whereas you get off to these Lindy Rattling Flyers, they show up just a little bit different, and they're pretty dang awesome to use. I would definitely give them a try. Another honorable mention is one that's new for me and for everybody else, and I saw Brett McCombs from Target Walleye. He pulled these out, and I've been using it more and more, and I actually bent my hook on it. It's been doing really well for me. It's this PK spoon. I believe this is the 1/4 ounce size, and I like it because it's a little bit bigger. It's not that small profile like the majority of these other jigging spoons, but it's got a little bit bigger of a profile. This is a glow red dot, and it just seems to do that little bit different action. Like I've said, it's a common theme across this whole board. Every lure does a little bit different action, and it has that bigger profile, and I think that's probably part of the reason why I like it. And maybe this Lindy Rattling Flyer, it's close on the same profile, but it's not as wide and bulky. Just a different preference, just something else to try. And it's not like one lure is always going to catch you more than the other one. Depends on the day, depends on the fish. But if it were coming back to us, this buckshot spoon is going to catch you more fish. And it's just in our simple opinion, just in our experience, is what we've seen is with this buckshot spoon. There we have it. I mean, this is our top 5 walleye baits that we use on our jigging rods, which I have out here in front of me. These are my 2 Iron Range Custom Lake of the Woods and an Iron Range Custom Extreme. These are my 2 go-to walleye jigging rods. Let us know if you need any information on the Iron Range Customs. We'd be happy to help. Otherwise, reach out to Keith. He's got them all lined up on Iron Range Custom Rods website as well. Check them out. They're awesome rods. Favorite jigging rods I've ever used, and I've used quite a few. Not that the other ones are bad, but these ones are just I like more personally. Other than that, if you have any questions on other jigging baits we use, there's a whole other box. We got 3 boxes sitting on this chair over here full of spoons that I pull out. I'll pull one off, one's out. I find it cool at the store that I like. I buy it and I use it and it works. So you're not limited to just these, but these are ones that I would definitely recommend that you have in your box at one time. If there's any other ones that you guys use that you don't see here, let us know. I'd love to give them a shot. I mean, they might be your secret lure. Maybe you don't want to let us know, but shoot us an email, shoot us a text on Instagram, DM us, or comment on this video what you think your favorite go-to lure is, because I'd love to see and compare it to this. Maybe it's just a different color of this buckshot spoon. Maybe you like the green and gold one that has been around for forever. Probably my first one has been my tackle box. Get out there, go catch some fish, put these in your tackle box. You're gonna catch some more fish. With that, I'd like to see you next week. Keep it tuned.